The desert is quiet tonight. The dunes breathe softly. Shadows stretch long across the sand, and above me the moon hangs, a silver guardian, a silent witness. I walk beneath its glow, and in the stillness of night I hear whispers. They are not from the wind, nor from the falcon's cry, nor from the hooves of the stallion resting in his stable. No, these whispers rise from the heart of my beloved, soft trembling, like prayers too shy to meet the dawn. Her voice trembles, but her soul is steady. She speaks without words, yet the moon carries her whispers straight into my chest. I listen, as one listens to the call to prayer, with reverence, with silence, with surrender. Her whispers speak of longing, of dreams she hides in daylight, of fears she buries behind smiles. And though the world cannot hear her, I do, for I was made to. The moon becomes our bridge. It gathers her whispers and lays them in my hands, and I, like a poet, shape them into promises. I promise her that no shadow will last forever, that no night is endless. I promise her that the desert may be vast, but it is not emptier than a heart without love. And as long as she whispers, as long as she breathes, her voice will be my compass. I look at her beneath the moonlight, eyes lowered, lashes trembling, yet within her silence, a galaxy burns. And I realize, even the brightest stars cannot rival a single whispers from the lips of my beloved. So I take her hand, press it to my chest, and say, "Beloved, your whispers are safe here. They will never be lost to the desert wind. They will never vanish into the night. For I am your echo, your guardian, your companion beneath the moonlight." The desert holds its breath, as though afraid to interrupt her whispers. Even the wind pauses, hovering like a servant, awaiting command. And in that stillness, her voice grows louder, not to the ear, but to the soul. I see the moonlight kiss her tears, turning them into silver beads. I wonder if the stars envy her, for they have shone for thousands of years, but none glow brighter than the tear of my beloved under the midnight sky. She whispers of loneliness, of nights she waited, watching the door, listening for footsteps that never came, and I feel her ache, like a dagger unsheathed. The desert is wide, but not as empty as her heart was. In those hours of waiting, I bow my head, ashamed of every absence, every silence, that left her alone with her whispers. So I vow to her before the moon, before the dunes, before the falcon, who circles above us, that I will never again let her whispers fade unheard. I will guard them, as I guard my breath. I will hold them, as I hold my honor. For her whispers are not mere sounds. They are the veins of my life. The stallion shifts in the distance, its hooves brushing sand, its breath visible in the cold air. Even it seems to understand, nodding gently, as though blessing my vow. The falcon lands on my arm, silent but certain, its sharp eyes reflecting the moon's light. And I know then, the desert itself is witness to my promise. I look into her eyes, dark as the endless night, and I say, "My beloved, your whispers are sacred. They will not vanish into silence again. For I will be the night that carries them, the dawn that answers them, the man who treasures them, as if they are pearls scattered across eternity." And as the moon continues its slow journey, her whispers grow softer, like a child finding peace in the arms of its mother. She leans closer, her breath warm against me, and though her lips move gently, I know it is not the moon who hears her now. It is me, only me. The night deepens, yet my heart feels brighter. Her presence, her whispers, are lanterns burning in the dark. I trace the lines of her hand, those delicate rivers that lead me back home. Every curve, every touch, tells me a story of loyalty, a story of waiting, a story of love unbroken by the cruelty of time. She places her palm over my chest, and the desert quiets, as though the world itself listens to the sound of my heart. It beats faster, not from fear, but from reverence. I feel unworthy, yet chosen. I feel fragile, yet infinite. The dunes rise like mountains, yet I would cross them barefoot, if it meant reaching her smile. The stars scatter like diamonds, yet none could purchase what she has given me, the crown of her trust, the kingdom of her embrace. Her whispers now soften, becoming laughter, becoming music, only my soul can hear. I close my eyes, and the wind delivers her song into every grain of sand. Even the falcon lowers its wings, humbled by a melody greater than its flight. I tell her, "You are the moon's secret. You are the desert's hidden well. You are the reason the stallion runs so freely,
the reason the stars gather, in loyal silence above. She gazes at me, her eyes shimmering like an oasis, and for a moment, I feel eternity resting between us. No need for time, no need for words, only the whispers, only the breath, only the love that does not bend, does not break, does not end. I pull her closer, and the desert disappears. There is no sand, no sky, no falcon, no stallion, only her, only me, only the whispers beneath the moonlight, carving our names onto the heart of God. The moon climbs higher, a guardian in the sky, and with each breath, I feel her spirit, woven deeper into mine. It is not just love, it is a covenant, a sacred tie, forged in the silence between her whispers and my vows. Her hair flows like midnight rivers, catching the wind, dancing against the glow of the desert flame. I watch the strands glimmer, and I realize, even the stars envy the crown she wears so effortlessly. She leans her head against my shoulder, and in that tender act, the weight of the world dissolves. Kings may guard kingdoms, warriors may chase glory, but I, a simple man, am content to guard her breath, to chase her smile, to be the echo to her every whisper. The stallion paces the horizon, its mane like fire against the pale dunes. It neighs softly, as though urging me onward, as though reminding me that love is a journey, requiring both strength and patience. I stroke its neck and whisper back, yes, I know, and I will never falter. The falcon lifts into the sky, its wings cutting the night like a blade of light. It circles above us, a witness to eternity, a messenger to the unseen, and I wonder, perhaps her whispers rise on its wings, carried to the heavens, where angels record them as poetry too pure for ink. I turn to her, and she smiles, though her eyes glisten with unspoken ache. My love, she says softly, the world may take you far from me, but promise me this, promise that the whispers we share tonight will live in you forever. I take her hands, press them to my lips and say, my beloved, they are not whispers alone, they are seeds in my heart, and even if the desert swallows every river, they will bloom as gardens inside my soul. The wind stirs again, carrying her fragrance across the endless sand, and I know in that instant, her whispers have become the prayer of my life, and my vow to her is the answer. The desert night breathes gently, like a mother soothing her child. Every dune glows faintly, silvered by the moon's soft hand, and I realize, we are not alone. The desert itself is listening. Each grain of sand, each wandering breeze, each distant cry of the owl, all gather like loyal guardians around her voice. Her whispers are not confined to her lips. They are woven into the fabric of night, into the rhythm of eternity. She closes her eyes, her lashes trembling like falcon wings. A tear escapes, but before it falls, I catch it with my hand. A jewel, a treasure, a sign that even in strength, she allows herself to be fragile, and I swear to protect both her strength and her fragility, for both are the essence of her beauty. I tell her, my love, the desert may shift, the dunes may change, the winds may erase our footprints, but they will never erase you from the map of my soul. You are not written in sand, you are carved into stone, etched into the stars, tattooed into my breath. She leans closer, and the moonlight paints her face with holy fire. It feels as though the Creator himself sculpted her features to remind me of paradise. I see heaven in her smile, salvation in her embrace, and eternity in her whispers. The stallion approaches, its hooves silent on the sand, its eyes glowing with wisdom, older than my lineage. It bows its head beside us, as though surrendering to her quiet power. Even the beast of strength recognizes her reign over my heart. The falcon circles lower, then perches on the dune, its gaze locked on us, its silence profound. It too listens, for her whispers are not only mine, they are a language of love, understood by all creation. I take her hand and press it to my heart, letting her feel the rhythm of my vow, and I speak again, my voice unshaken. You are not my past, you are not my future, you are my forever, here, now, always. When your whispers rise, they rise within me. When your silence falls, it becomes my prayer, and when the desert sleeps, your name is the only sound that keeps the stars awake. And in that moment, beneath the wide embrace of night, I realize, her whispers are not merely words, they are the anthem of my existence, the compass of my soul, the secret that makes me whole.
When the moon listens to her whispers, it grows jealous of their secret. It wishes it could speak like her, to cradle every syllable she breathes, to hide each confession in silver light. But the moon is only a witness, and I, blessed, am the keeper. Her whisper tonight is softer, a hush wrapped in longing. She speaks of small things, the smell of fresh bread at dawn, the quiet laugh that slips past her lips, the memory of a garden long seen in dreams. Yet in those small things lies the vast, a universe folded into a single breath. I draw her closer, feeling the warmth that outshines the moon's cool touch. When her head rests on my shoulder, her whisper becomes a map, where sorrow hides, where joy hides, where the unsaid prayers gather. I trace the map with fingers trembling, vowing to repair the roads that cracked. There is a hush between two heartbeats, that sacred place where whispers dwell. It is a chamber without doors, where promises are stored like grain, enough to sustain us through winters. She places trust there, small and luminous, and I place my life beside it in return. The desert night draws breath around us, stars like distant lamps watching us keep faith. A breeze lifts the hem of her robe, carrying the scent of jasmine and dates. Home scents, simple and holy. I breathe them in and know, home is not a place on the map, it is the cadence of her whisper at midnight. She tells me of a fear softly, ashamed, that one day the whispers will fade. I answer not with words but with action. I press a kiss into her palm, plant a promise beneath her wrist, and pledge that as long as breath finds me, her voice will find an echo in mine. The falcon's shadow passes above, a silent guardian of our night. Even the bird that masters the sky bends its flight to honor her tone. For whispered things have weight here. They shape tomorrow, they steer fate, they mend what storms once splintered. When she pauses, the desert leans in, listening for the next gentle spill of truth. I promise to catch every falling piece, to turn shards of doubt into stepping stones, to build a path where her feet can rest. And in the hush that follows, her whisper turns to a sigh of relief, soft as dawn breaking over dunes. So let the moon keep its jealous glow, let the stars arrange their quiet applause. What matters is the tiny voice beside me, the sacred whisper that holds my name. Beneath the moonlight, we make our covenant. Her whispers will be my mission, and I will be their faithful guard. The night stretches wider, like an endless sea of silence, and her whispers become the waves that move within it. Each word she breathes is a pearl rising from the deep, a treasure carried in secrecy, a jewel offered only to me. I hold those pearls gently, not in my hands, but in my heart. For whispers are fragile, they can vanish with the wind, they can dissolve in the air, but inside me they remain eternal, guarded as sacred flame. She tells me of waiting, the hours when shadows crawled across the walls, when loneliness sat beside her, like an uninvited guest. I feel the ache etched into her words, and guilt strikes me like a desert storm. But she does not accuse me, she only whispers, as if her pain, though sharp, is too gentle to wound me further. I take her hand in both of mine, and say softly, "My beloved, your waiting was not in vain. Every step that carried me away was only a path leading me back to you. And tonight, I stand as proof that whispers are stronger than distances, that love defies the silence of miles." The stallion snorts nearby, its breath misting in the cold. It stamps its hooves, as though declaring loyalty to the vow I have spoken. Even the falcon, its wings folded in quiet majesty, keeps watch upon us, a sentinel of the skies, a guardian of promises. Her eyes glimmer like water under moonlight. I see a storm there, but also a sunrise, and I realize her whispers are not fragile. They are stronger than thunder, more enduring than the dunes, more infinite than the stars. It is I who must rise to be worthy of them. So I whisper back, my lips brushing her hair, "You are my compass, you are my breath, you are my eternity." When your voice trembles, I will be its anchor. When it fades, I will be its echo. When you whisper, I will answer, not just tonight, but until the last grain of sand has fallen from time's hand. The desert sighs with us, and for a moment, even silence feels alive. Her whispers and mine become one, woven together, like two threads of gold. And in that union, I hear not just love, but destiny itself. The night folds around us like a worn cloak, soft at the edges, warm at the center, and in that center live her whispers. They come not as thunder, but as steady embers, small lights that refuse to die. She tells me of small mercies, a loaf of bread warmed at dawn, a stranger's kindness on a weary road, the way the first cup of tea can make the whole day patient. Her voice trembles with gratitude, and I learn that saints are measured, not by miracles but by gratitude. There is a hush when she speaks of fear, a tiny tremor that hides behind her courage. She fears the days when I ride away, the empty rooms, the silent evenings. She fears the slow erosion of promises. I do not answer with speeches. I pull her close, and let my presence be. My arms are the only sermon she needs. The desert around us exhales, the dunes soften as if listening. A low breeze carries the scent of distant rain, and for a moment hope tastes like water. She inhales it, and her lashes flutter, the little lift of a soul that has chosen to trust again. I press my forehead to hers, and in that touch the world rearranges itself. All maps fold toward her smile. She whispers of dreams she keeps hidden, small gardens she wants to plant beside our door,
a child's laugh she longs to hear, books she wishes to read in a quiet hour. The simplicity of these wishes humbles me. I had prepared crowns and castles, but she wants a garden and a quiet chair. And suddenly everything I sought seems foolish beside a single pot of green. The falcon's cry fades in the distance, its shadow a thin line on silver sand. Even the bird master of heights has no language for the hush between us. So I speak in the only way I know. I listen. I learn the cadence of her breath, the soft punctuation of her pauses, the way a single whispered word, "stay," can rearrange the moon. We speak then of forgiveness, gentle, exacting. She admits faults that never made the news, small betrayals of hope, soft betrayals of self. I do not tally or judge. I fold them like letters, place them in the pocket of my heart, and answer with work, nightly prayers, morning bread, hands that repair. Forgiveness here is a craft, practiced daily, patient as the tide. Night deepens, but fear lessens. Her whispers find strength in being heard. She calls me by names the wind does not know, and each name is a covenant I sign with my silent lips. There is power in a woman who trusts enough to whisper. It bends the stubborn stars, it teaches the proud sand to bow. When silence returns, it is full, not empty. We let the night keep its treasures, the distant lights, the slow breath of animals, the far-off pulse of a road. Our whispers remain between us, unshared, sacred, a small private scripture read only by two. I hold them like a lamp in my chest, and every step I take from now on is guided by their dim, steady blaze. Beneath the moonlight she rests, and I promise again, not with grand vows that crumble with seasons, but with the daily language of return. Footsteps, bread, listening. Her whispers are the map I follow. They lead me home, not to a place but to a person. And as the first pale hint of dawn threads the horizon, we keep our covenant quiet and unending. The stars begin to scatter, retreating before the slow march of dawn. But still her whispers linger, threads of silk woven into the fabric of night. They cling to me, gentle yet unbreakable, like vines that wrap themselves around an ancient tree. She speaks of the past, the early days of love, when laughter came easily, when every glance felt like a sunrise. Her eyes soften as she remembers, and I see in her expression a tenderness that time has not erased. Her whispers carry both memory and hope, like a song that begins in childhood, but finds its chorus in eternity. I listen as though listening to scripture, for in her words are lessons, to be patient when storms arrive, to be grateful when rain finally falls, to cherish even the smallest of days. She teaches me without trying, and I, humbled, learn without resisting. The desert shifts around us, dunes reshaping themselves silently. It feels as if the land itself echoes her whispers, changing, bending, yet always returning to its true form. So too is her love. It bends with hardship, it shifts with trial, yet always returns to devotion. I take her face between my hands, and I whisper back, "You are not only my love, you are my teacher, my compass, my dawn after endless nights." Your whispers carve paths where my eyes saw only sand. You are the answer to questions I never knew how to ask. The stallion stamps its hoof, its breath loud in the cool air. I see fire in its eyes, a reminder that love requires strength to protect it. The falcon soars higher, its wings slicing the horizon, reminding me that love requires strength to protect it, also requires freedom to breathe. I turn back to her, and she is smiling softly, as though both the stallion and falcon have whispered their wisdom into her heart. She leans closer, resting her head upon my chest, and in that moment, I feel the world complete. Her whispers quiet now, not because they are gone, but because they have entered me. I hear them in my pulse, I feel them in my breath. They are not words anymore, they are life itself. And as the night prepares to surrender to dawn, I realize that her whispers are not bound to moonlight. They will live in daylight too. They will guide me in heat and storm. They will guard me in absence, and heal me in return. For her whispers are not temporary. They are eternal. They are love in its purest form, carved beneath the moon, but destined to shine beneath the sun as well. The horizon begins to stir, a faint blush of dawn painting the edge of the desert. Yet her whispers still linger, gentle as the final notes of a song that refuses to end. The moon bends low, yielding to the sun's approach, but even in retreat, it seems reluctant to leave her side. She whispers of mornings, of the first light touching our door, of the quiet hours when the world is still half asleep. Her voice is steady now, less fragile, as though dawn itself has strengthened her spirit, and I marvel how even her whispers change with the rhythm of time, becoming softer at night, stronger at dawn, yet always true. I tell her, "My love, the night guarded your whispers, but the day will carry them. They will not fade with the moon, they will rise with the sun. Every ray of light will be your voice, every shadow it casts will be your memory." The falcon soars high, its wings catching the first breath of light. It cries once, a sound sharp and pure, as if declaring the beginning of something sacred. The stallion paws the ground, its mane glowing golden, in the touch of dawn, impatient to run, to chase the new day. She looks at me then, and her smile is brighter than the horizon, her whispers soften into silence, but I no longer need sound, for silence itself has learned to speak her name. Her presence beside me is louder than any voice, stronger than any word.
The desert awakens slowly, sand shifting, wind humming, sky opening, but all of creation seems to bow to the quiet bond between us. Her whispers may belong to the night, but their echo belongs to eternity. I press my forehead to hers, one last time before the sun rises, and I whisper, "You are not only my moonlight, you are my sunrise, my every horizon, my every path." Even when whispers fade, love will remain, loud, unbroken, eternal. And as the first light spreads across the endless dunes, I know the truth. Her whispers will live with me, not just beneath the moonlight, but beneath every sky, in every season, in every breath I take.